I just want to summarize this with saying we've got religion, we've got politics. These things do not really seem to help us get along at all. And they both seem to all come from the same beast, the same multi-headed hydra. And it's about time for us to get over that stuff, get over our beliefs. Beliefs don't mean anything, they're just helping us fight each other. We really just need to pay attention to the things that we all need, things that draw us all together. And a really great thing that we can look at for understanding what we all need is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This model helps us to narrow down what we all basically need, essentially. So the first of it is physiological needs, and we're going to zoom in on it so we can get a closer look. These are the bare necessities. Exactly what you need to stay alive. Air, food, water, shelter, clothing, sleep. And next, we've got safety and security. Making sure that you feel safe. Everything that ensures that you can maintain that which is below. Really, all you have to do is think about whatever it is you need to do to maintain the below physiological needs. You need to usually have people that have got your back a lot of the time in order to ensure that you can continue to get all these things that you need. You have to at least be working with some other people. Apparently, you really just need to be plugged in with society. It's really helpful. And next comes love and belonging. Of course, you want somebody to belong to. You want to be loved. You're going to have that desire. You're going to want to exchange your affection with another. You want to create a bond that helps us to build the next, which is esteem. Now, you might notice that it's written as self-esteem. Okay, now I have been really trying to hold off from interjecting or stepping aside with a commentary on this and, otherwise detracting from the main topic. But I have to say, this particular model has been added on to. It's been, I guess you would call it updated, but basically I am kind of a purist. I kind of stick with the originator. I like to keep people on board with source material and not change it. So when you take esteem and you change that to self-esteem, that shows that you really do not know what goes on with esteem. And this is going to reveal a very big problem and large pattern with many of us here. What I'm going to tell you is that models, social models for esteem, acts of esteem and honor and supportive interactions have not been offered to us. We have been deliberately starved of esteem to the point where we can only think of garnering self-esteem. It's almost unthinkable. It is almost unthinkable to imagine that you could esteem another person and appreciate them for their power and their beauty. It is a tragic and woeful thing that we have lost so much that we could be with one another. We've lost so much depth to our love because esteem is even higher than love. It is more in the realm of true love, where we are really in a very sweet, accepting, and just unconditionally loving place. Appreciative. by renaming esteem as self-esteem and listing confidence, achievement, respect of others, the need to be a unique individual, all of those qualities listed are very geared toward overcompensating for a lack of self-worth. The self-worth element has been carefully excised from the big picture here of human connectivity, that which keeps us all vital and healthy and caring for one another. If you have esteem in your fellow man, then you are going to be less ready to want to fight them or hate them or despise them for doing better than you are doing or doing something better than you're doing. If you see somebody who has skills and you appreciate the skills that they have, then that is esteeming them. You are showing esteem in another person. I hope you understand why I'm going off about this, because this is really kind of a big deal that this kind of information is being spread around the internet. So I'm going to get us a better copy of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? No, that's more like it. So just in case you go and research yourself, you will find a lot of it is rewritten with self-esteem. So it appears that there has been made an attempt to make a correction on the original system while still using Maslow's name and not calling it something else. They've modified the esteem part into self-esteem, and you might think that that's innocuous and innocent, but what that is doing is it is making room for the overcompensation for the low sense of self that is the obstacle, it is the stumbling block for unenlightened people. It is why we have a hard time attaining enlightenment. It is that it is so difficult to grasp a deep understanding of the true nature of the self. And this is taught to us through yoga and the Buddha simultaneously. Yet it has been said that Buddhism and yoga are two different schools of thought, when they really are not. They are really one and the same, but it is very difficult to grasp the esoteric nature of the self, of the absolute. And this is why the capstone floats, because we have such a hard time reaching esteem and understanding esteem and experiencing it. But this is not necessarily our faults here, because we haven't really been exposed to a lot of social modeling of esteem. We don't get shown what it is to esteem one another and to have esteem. It is just not something that we are frequently exposed to for some reason in our entertainment industry and all of the things that we are shown in what I guess you could call cultural broadcasting or national broadcasting, international broadcasting. There is certain ways of thinking that most of us are not privileged to access. And Maslow actually identified this. He called the politics that the general public use jungle politics, talking about how there is a 1% kind of political system that's out of the public view. It's not common knowledge. It's very, very esoteric way of governing your life, and it is basically enlightened anarchy, for a lack of better words. And you do not necessarily need to have an army to back you up for it, because you are able to just hold that container in your family. So this is why it's just so hard for us to reach these levels of actualization. Self-actualization, it does not come easy. It is very hard for us to reach that. And like I said, it seems as if esteem just went missing, and here we are, mystified by this lack of self and this so-called enlightenment. And so many false spiritual teachers fool us because we haven't even begun to reach. We desperately need an emotionally safe place so we can confront ourselves and confront the ego, rather than try to compensate and build ourselves up to make up for this gaping chasm of self that is within us all. We must understand the expansive and infinite nature of the self. It is our birthright to do so.